Yeah, here, let's talk about, so I think I told you last stream that David Wood says that what would make him a Muslim is proof that the Quran says that the text of the Jews and the Christians has been corrupted. I figured let's go there. And so I've been preparing some things recently. And so hold on, before we get into it, have you heard of Zakir Naik and Ahmad Didat?
Have we ever?
Yeah. And so they both issued a challenge to all the Christians saying if they can show him a verbatim 100% statement in any version of the Bible where Jesus himself says that he's God, where it says to pray to him, then they're ready to be Christian. So, okay, now let's get right into it right away. And so the way David Wood's exact phrase statement on the Quran differentiates from Zakir Naik's demand is this. And so if you take it at face value, they argue from explicit statements to challenge an opponent's theological position. And so if Jesus being God is essential doctrine of salvation, then it must be stated by Jesus himself, not simply referred to by a second person like Paul or somebody else. And so that claim is extraordinary, requires direct explicit evidence from the person himself, not post facto interpretations. And so Muslims do not claim that the Quran says that the Injil is textually corrupted verbatim. Rather, the Quran says that the past scriptures given to the Jews and the Christians were altered by people, which needed the Quran to get involved. And so Surah 279 says something along the lines of like, woe to those who tamper with his word. And so this comes from not one, but multiple verses, which have contextual and scholarly consensus, as opposed to one mere phrase. And so, yeah, of course, the Quran does not need to say that the gospel is textually corrupted, just as it does not need to say alcohol is haram verbatim, but it states its prohibition clearly in Surah 590. And so I actually have a comparison to make about this. And so...
All right. Well, hurry up. You've been gone for a little while, and we'd like to respond. And
sure.
Avery's he's getting ready.
Get your hands off me. Oh, man.
So,
is this the Islamic dilemma? Because I was kind of getting
kinda.
Okay, I was about to say my shahada for a second. I was in a daze. Okay, so just summarize for me what your main point is.
Okay, so what I said again was that it has in order to meet Zakir Naik's challenge, it has to be something from Jesus himself, not simply an author like Paul or somebody who can.
Got it. So you need Jesus claiming to be God.
And saying that in those exact words, yes.
In those exact words?
Yes, that's what he says as part of a challenge.
So wait, is his challenge valid?
I would say so because he's demanding it be from Jesus himself.
Okay, so do you think that it's important? Like it'll be an essential and important teaching of Jesus that if people are getting this idea that he is God or worshiping him, that he comes out and explicitly says, "Hey, I am not God. Don't worship me."
Well, see, the thing is that most of the Christians I've encountered will tell you that, but I'm just simply saying, they have to be able to provide some type of verse to justify that.
They'll tell you that he's God.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at there.
Okay, but I'm talking about for Jesus. You're saying for Jesus to be God, this will be something that he would have to explicitly say in the exact word, "I am God," in order for him to be God.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
So, all right. So I'm asking the reverse. So that means the reverse is true, that if he's not God, then he would have to teach explicitly in the exact words, "I am not God," right?
Well, but there are verses which hint at him giving a prophetic message.
Remember, you said it has to be in the exact words or else he's not claiming to be God. So I'm saying the same thing reverse, same standard, same criteria, just the reverse. If Jesus is clear in teaching that he's not God, then he would have to come out and say the exact words, "I am not God, do not worship me," right?
Yeah, I would say that is, I see where you're going with that. And so, okay, now I'd like to continue on with.
Wait, we gotta make sure. I'm glad you see the point now. Let's make sure that we settle this now. So with that being said, do you think that is a fair and good challenge? Is that a good challenge to demand that Jesus says the words, I am God, worship me? And then therefore, is it also fair of us to then also demand the same thing, just the reverse? Show us where Jesus says, I am not God, do not worship me?
I would not say so, but the reason I'm bringing that up is I would just simply say to the Christian, look, I mean, you're the one that claims to believe in the Trinity, so I'm just simply asking them to somehow justify that position. That's all.
And same for me. You're the one telling me Jesus is not God; he's just a mere prophet. So show me where Jesus says, I am not God; I'm just a mere prophet. Right? I can ask the same type of, I can apply the same standard to you, can't I?
Actually, I am able to give you a verse which says that Jesus is a prophet.
No, that's not what I'm asking for. Remember, same standard. I'm asking for where Jesus says in his these exact words, I am not God, I am just a prophet.
Well, I guess you are right that nowhere in the Bible does it also doesn't say he's not God either, but I am able to show you a verse where it says that Jesus is called a prophet. I can show you I can read it right now.
That's beautiful. And I can show you a verse where Jesus is called God.
I can show you a verse where Jesus says he's God.
So Matthew 21:11 says, this is a prophet, Jesus from Nazareth in Galilee. And John 4:19, it says, sir, I perceive you are a prophet. And Luke 13:33 says it cannot be a prophet would perish outside of Jerusalem. And Mark 6:4 says a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown. Mm-hmm. So the word prophet appeared in each of these verses.
That's good. Yeah, nice.
Okay, so, now
can we show you the other way?
Yeah, you can go.
See, what you just did. And what's your name, brother?
Okay, well, my birth name is Nikolai, but my username is Muslim and Gen Z.
Muslim and Gen Z.
Yes.
Can I call you Nick?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Nick. So what you just did is that you just did a very beautiful job at proving that Jesus is a prophet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful job. You gave us nice, good verses that proves without a shadow of a doubt that Jesus is a prophet. And anybody who says that he's not a prophet, they are among the wrongdoers. They're going against what the Bible teaches and against what Jesus teaches. Now, we're also going to show you that he's not merely a prophet. Yes, he's a prophet and he is God. That's what we're going to show you, okay?
Okay.
All right. So here's some for just talking about some claims here. For example, because if we're just sticking with the four writings of the gospel authors here, or if we're just sticking with Jesus' words, just Jesus himself, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because it sounded like you quoted somebody else that said, I perceived you to be a prophet, right?
Okay, again, and so Jesus identified himself as a prophet apparently in Luke 13:33, and people also refer to him as a prophet in all the other verses. Got it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the same thing you gave us, where Jesus identifies himself as God and where somebody else identifies him as God. Okay. So I'll work backwards. I'll show you where somebody identified him as God. This was just one of many examples. Okay. Go to John chapter 20.
John chapter 20, right?
Good verse.
Thanks.
So it's John 5:20, right?
No, John chapter 20.
John chapter 20. What's the verse?
It'll be verse 28.
Okay, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, okay. Oh yeah. I was going to say, I've heard about that verse before. And so I've seen this all over social media where Christians try to cite that verse to make it seem as though he's a divine. And so Thomas was the one that actually quoted that. And so from my perspective, I have to examine this carefully because, Islam says that Jesus is a prophet. And so apparently Thomas was talking to him and he was apparently voicing astonishment. And so in biblical Greek, let me just read it for you.
Wait, voicing astonishment to who?
He was talking to Jesus, voicing and using a phrase of astonishment as opposed to declaring him as divine. And let me just
that's not what the Jews did at all. That would be blasphemy.
Okay. And also, and also, let's not forget that the New Testament was written by humans sometime after.
But you just quoted the New Testament to prove Jesus was a prophet. So let's not do this now. You just used the New Testament to prove Jesus was a prophet. So I'm going to use that same New Testament to prove that he's also God. You can't say that now that I'm showing where Jesus is God, that now it's corrupted. You can't do that, bro.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. That's the Muslim tactic, man. I'm trying to drag you out of that. Before you go full Muslim, I'm telling you, before you go full Muslim, it doesn't seem like you got yet. Before you go full, this is what the Muslim will do. The Muslim will quote to me the New Testament to help their case. And then when I show the New Testament that defeats their case, they'll say, oh, well, that's corrupted. You don't want to be that guy because that looks crazy.
Well, also, actually, Surah 548 does say that the Quran is the ultimate authority, and so what supports the Quran is good, but what doesn't, you can just throw away. That seems like what it's telling you to do.
All right, we can get into that next, okay? We'll get into that next on whether or not Allah says that you can pick and choose what you believe of the scriptures. We'll talk about that next, but first, let's talk about the claims of Jesus and the people around him in the Bible. And then we'll talk about what the Quran's view is, okay? Is that fair?
Sure.
All right. So according to the Bible here, Thomas calls Jesus his Lord and his God. Is that correct?
It seems to be that that's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm. So we got somebody acknowledging and recognizing Jesus, not just as his Lord, but as his God, right? Okay. So that's one of his original 12 disciples that's doing that. Now, Jesus doesn't rebuke him. He says, blessed are, you see that you believe this because you see me, but blessed are those who believe without seeing. So Jesus affirms what Thomas is saying about him. He doesn't deny him or reject him. Right? Go ahead and read the next verse.
What verse are you talking about?
In John chapter 20, verse 28, read verse 29.
Oh, John 20:29, right?
Mm-hmm. So this is right after Thomas just called Jesus his Lord and his God. Watch how Jesus responds to him.
Okay, and so again, it says, Jesus says to him, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen, yet have believed.
So do you see how he's not reprimanding Thomas for blasphemy, for calling him his Lord and God, but he's saying, Thomas, you believe this because you see me. But blessed are those who believe without even having to see me. Who believe what? That he is Lord and God. That he's risen.
So, John 20:29 is talking about how it says like to emphasize like faith in God, like in his messengers, even without, like, I guess, direct visual evidence.
Faith in who, though?
And so Jesus' statement here is that belief doesn't require seeing miracles firsthand.
But faith in who?
I would imagine it's referring to Jesus, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So Jesus is saying, put your faith in me as your Lord and God, even without seeing, without having to see it with your own eyes, without having to visually and physically experience that, but put your faith in me and believe that I am your Lord, I am your God. Believe this without even having to see. And you'll be blessed. See? So Jesus affirms what Thomas is saying. You understand what I'm saying?
I do believe I know where you're going with this.
So this is Jesus right after Thomas declares Jesus to be God. Jesus agrees with Thomas that he's his Lord and God, but says, blessed are those who believe this without even having to see me. Pretty good, huh?
Okay, and so I wanted to continue reading on what I was going to say I was, and so for
wait, do you want to see where Jesus says we could pray to him?
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you want to see where Jesus says we can pray to him?
Where does it say that?
Yeah, so go to John chapter 14. Now, before I bring this up, we agree that prayer is supplication, sending requests up to God, right?
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, go to John chapter 14, and you're going to read verses 12 to 14. John chapter 14.
Okay.
Verses 12 to 14. So this is going to be in context of Jesus leaving, going away, going to heaven.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, it says, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I'm going to the Father, and I'll ask you what you do in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. And you may ask me for anything in my name, and I'll do it.
So you see that? Jesus just said, hey guys, I'm about to go away. I'm going back to the Father. And as I'm gone, those who believe will be able to do even greater works than these, right? In quantity, not quality. In quantity. They're going to be doing more miracles because Jesus was only here for 3 years. They're here for much longer, so they'll be doing miracles much longer than he did. So it's greater than quantity, not quality. Now, here's the point, though. He's going away to the Father, and he says, while he's gone, he says, ask anything in my name, and I will do it. He says, truly I say to you, if you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. So Jesus is saying, while he's gone, while he's in heaven with the Father, we can supplicate to him. We can send our requests to Jesus, supplicate to Jesus. And not only will he hear our supplication, but he is going to answer our prayer. He can answer our requests.
So, okay. And so, so greater works could simply mean like to spread the message to the entire world. And let's also not forget that Muslims don't pray to prophets, but in his name could simply refer to praying with faith in God as his source while trusting in the prophet's guidance.
Nope, because who does he say to ask? Verse 14.
Well, it says, if you ask me for anything in my name, I'll do it.
So who are we asking?
It's referring to Jesus.
So we're asking Jesus in whose name? Whose authority?
In his authority?
In his authority. So he says, ask me in my name. And who's going to answer the prayer for us?
He will?
Exactly. So he can hear our prayers, receive our prayers, and answer our prayers. We can direct our prayers to him, he says. Doesn't this show that he's God?
Well, let's not forget that miracles came from God, not the prophet himself. And so the Quran says that he performed miracles by God's permission.
But does the Quran say that we can pray to a prophet?
Well, it says not.
Exactly. Exactly. So it says the opposite, meaning Jesus here, supposedly just a prophet, is telling us we can pray to him. So is Jesus claiming to be a mere prophet, or is he also claiming to be God?
Well, asking in his name means to trust in his guidance and teachings faithfully and acknowledging him as a messenger.
Nick, no. Come on, man. Asking him in his name, who's going to do it?
Well, it says, the verse says that he will.
There's no way around it. So is Jesus claiming to be a mere prophet, or is he also claiming to be God who can answer our prayers?
Seems to be hinting at possible divinity.
I love your honesty, brother. So here we have Jesus. Now we don't see the words, I am God, worship me. I am God, pray to me. We don't need that. Just like we don't see the words, I am not God, do not worship me. However, what we do see, Nick, is we see very clear statements of Jesus claiming to be divine, claiming to be God in different ways, like this, saying that we can pray to him and he can answer. Now, let's think of it this way too, Nick. Jesus says, am I boring you?
4 hours.
No. Oh, okay. Jesus says, Jesus says here, watch. He says, ask me anything in my name and I will do it. So what type of attribute this is showing that he's going to be able to hear all the prayers from anyone, all the believers who's requesting up to him. So he has to be all hearing to be able to even hear all the prayers. He has to be all knowing. Then it says in my name. So he has the authority, the power to be prayed to. And he says, I will do it. My question is this, Nick, think about this. What type of attribute would Jesus have to be able to grant any request that the believer asks of him? What amount of power would he have to be able to do anything they ask?
Well, okay. And so, but again, I did already say that prayers and works happen through God, not independent of him.
That's why Jesus is God. That's the point.
Is it? Yep. That's the point.
Jesus is God, which is why their prayers can be answered when they ask him. And for him to be able to do anything that they ask, what kind of power does he have to be able to do anything they ask? What kind of power is that? He has to be all powerful, right?
Yes, you would need to be all powerful for that.
Yep. So Jesus is claiming to be all powerful. He's claiming to be all hearing, which by default means you're all knowing. He's claiming to have all power and authority so that we can send our supplication to him in his name. So in his authority and his power, and he can do it. So he's claiming to be all knowing, all hearing, and all powerful, and not limited to space. For the believers, they're going to be all over the earth, spread everywhere, right? Millions of people, billions of people believing in Jesus, praying to him in their different languages, wherever they are, in their different times, in their different countries and spaces. Meaning Jesus will have to be omnipresent to be able to hear all and to be able to answer all wherever they are. To be able to answer and grant any request of a believer in whatever the language is, in whatever the country is, in whatever the time zone is, he has to be all knowing, all powerful, and omnipresent. Tell me, what kind of being, Nick, is all knowing, all hearing, all powerful, and omnipresent? What kind of being is that?
Well, that would have to be God.
So right here, brother, we got Jesus very clearly claiming to be God.
Which is John 20.
John 14. John 14, 12 to 14, where he says, you can ask me anything in my name and I will do it.
Wow. Wow, that's seems like a fair point there, and I'd be more than happy to check it out later and get back to you guys on that.
Yeah,
that's smart. That's smart, and that's honest. That's humble.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else at this time I feel like bringing up now. So I guess, hold on. When are you guys doing another live stream? Do you know?
I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually around the same time that I started today.
5 o'clock, right?
IP, when are you going live?
Oh, Sijuwadi, I think we'll be live again September 30th after my eye surgery because I have to get that the prior week, so we can't do it that week. But September 30th, which is a Tuesday, we should go live like 1 p.m. PST around that time. It'll be late. So.
Do you know when you're going live, Michael?
Yeah, September 30th with Sijuwadi.
30th.
That's when we're going to do it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. And Avery, do you know when you're going live next or not?
Yeah, what's today? I'll be Thursday. I'll be live tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time, PST.
So you said Monday, Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And also, something I like to bring up is there's a Muslim apologist I've been conversing with recently, and he says he'd be willing to have a formal debate with anybody on any topic. And so, again, I think what you can do is find a way to get in contact with him. Like you can comment on one of his videos. And
what's his name?
It's Nadir Ahmed, and he has a small YouTube channel.
Nadir Ahmed?
Yes.
Bro, no.
Why not?
Nick.
There's history there.
Yeah, there's a lot of history behind Nadir Ahmed, and
You guys already know him?
yes, bro, yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A lot of dishonesty in some areas.
He's
Did you like talk to him already?
Yeah, he's debated David Wood. He's debated quite a few others, and he's with lack of better words, he is. I'm gonna be as real as I can. He's a laughing stock of apologetics right now. Yeah.
Like, did he ever like directly engage either of you two?
He engaged with Sam Shimon. David Wood had a formal debate with him. I don't know if it was one or twice, but he had a formal debate with David Wood. He engaged with Sam Shimon on YouTube.
No, but did he engage you, Avery?
On me? No. I haven't spoken to him.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I've got debates scheduled like from now till like February. So yeah, I'm supposed to have a debate on Tuesday with Abdullah Al-Andalusi on Rattlesnake TV. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, Michael, really cool of you to bring me back onto your channel. And I'd be more than happy to study some more and think of some ways I could refine my explanations. And and you give me some more new things to think about. And the next time I engage you in a live stream, I'll just recount what I was able to come up with. And I might come up with something new up my sleeve. I don't know.
Sure. I will. Yeah. Well, I'm still praying for you, man. And I hope you are too. And I just remember when we go through this stuff, if we catch ourselves making excuses after excuses after excuses for the text, is the text really based on truth, or are we trying to make it fit the truth? Don't just think about that for how you go through this stuff. Because if you find yourself, like, let's say you go away and you start doing that.
Okay.
Think about what that means for the text and what your beliefs are. And maybe they need to be changed up or switched, because I've changed up beliefs I've had because of that.
Yeah, I do see where you're going with that. And so I'll keep you guys in my prayers too. And hey, Avery, nice meeting you for the
Nice to
first
meet you too, man.
Yeah. And maybe see you guys in a future stream.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, okay?
You guys have a good night now.
Bless, man.
See, I was last week when I was streaming, I was like, oh, I'm going to get some crazy Dawa guys in here. And then this guy shows up and he's super nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's cool. He's chill.
I watched that. You guys had a great conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks before speaking, and he thinks about what is being said to him. So that's what you can ask for, man, in a conversation, like this, especially with the ton of boneheads we get. So
they start running the Dawa script.
Yeah, start running the Dawa script. Now, by the way, he's also running the Dawa. I mean, he took Zakir Nikes, and said, here.
Yeah.
Meet the challenge. So he runs the Dawa script. He just has a better attitude with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So let's bring up